Hello guys, welcome back. This is Pete Dahlgren building Mears Models F86. What I'm doing here is I've already started laying out a lot of the panels that make this go, and as you guys all know, I've already done my panel lines, and I'm gonna let you guys go on that one. I do mine a little different because I'm beating the airplane up. I'm doing it on purpose because the plan is to weather this and put it as an old airplane from the Korean War era, and it needs to be beat up. It needs to be a war dog. I want this thing. It's going to have oil stains, rust, you name it. It's going to be weathered like you won't believe. But I want the details to look as good and as accurate as possible. Now I did this over here so I can show you basic prepping to get to this part and getting into details like this. And this is what makes these things really shine. And yes, guys, that is actually the panel lines that these things actually did have. And they alternate a little bit, and that's fine. One thing is we're looking for a lot of weathering in this and that in this. The airplane turned out way too damn straight. Now, what I mean by that, I wanted more of a beer canning effect to it. And it does, but it doesn't do it quite as much as I can. So I'm gonna camouflage this airplane and I'm gonna make it even better that way than it was and intended to be. Now I'm not doing a silver jet. There's too many of them. Everybody's got a silver jet. So basically what I'm doing is going in and I'm doing a 309th group from Korea, and I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to camouflage this airplane in the exact picture that you're looking at, but I'm also doing another squadron's markings. It'll have a red nose with a black lightning bolt, red tail, black lightning bolt. It'll have some stars on it and this and that, but I want you guys to realize the fact too, we're building a wore out airplane. We're building the first of them that were in Korea. This is the A model. And I can't emphasize enough that you gotta be correct on that, especially if you're gonna compete. But if you're just gonna fly your plane, you paint the thing pink and nobody's gonna care. But the thing is that this is the part of the build that I really love doing. I love the detailing. I love seeing all these doors and oculars all over these. And I will actually come back in here and I will actually label all of them. And as soon as Phil gets back in business with Flightline Graphics, then I can get the dry rubs to go on that. And also, Mears will make your paint mask, and he does them very reasonably. There will be some big deals. There's a big red line that goes across that right there. I'm not sure what it was, but anyway, there's a lot of things that are silver. There's a lot of colors that is going to be in this, but the primary base color on it is going to be kind of a two-tone gray with a green camouflage over it. And I'm looking for a little bit different. I don't want a silver airplane. Everybody and their brother has a silver painted F86. And I want to be different. So I've got to build this thing in a camouflage pattern and actually build it to where it is doing exactly what I want it to do. So I think that with this and that being said, there's a lot of details that will be in this thing. And I'm going to be probably showing you guys a lot of progress reports at this particular point in time, mainly for the reason you guys are going to have, all of you are good builders. I'm getting a lot of seasoned builders that are coming to me for advice, and really the reality of that is that there's not a lot that I can really teach you, other than the fact is that you got to be personable about how you are building your airplane, because there just is no way that Some of you guys are pretty freaking amazing in your detail thing, Dremels and all this stuff like that. I'm not. I am going to be putting 20,000 rivets on this, and I cannot see doing it with a Dremel. It's going to drive me crazy. Now, I did add all these panel lines. I've got all the screws and that go in here in these panels. These are screwed on. This one is screwed on, but it does have some rivet detail in there. That one's screwed. This is all riveted. And these are all panels that will go. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how I clean the airplane. And that's why I have not done this yet, because I want to show you guys. And I'm going to actually do that. Because you guys know well that if it's dusty, it's just not going to hold up very well. And some of these things I'm putting in here are actual intentional screw-ups, guys. I don't want this airplane perfect. I'm going to weather it. I want it to look like it's had some panels repaired. I want it to look like it had a lot of things done in the field. That's the way these things were. They were filthy ass dirty. They were never clean. When they got them in there, most of these guys didn't even have water to wash these things. Shit, man, if they drank this shit, they got sick. So why would they do that to their airplane? Okay, very funny. But the one thing is that you got to remember, this is Korean War. They didn't have time to be going out there and washing airplanes. They were flying, they were out there bombing, they were strafing, they were working on these things endlessly. They were dropping shit on the ground, they were doing whatever, dropping wrenches in it, putting dings and dents in it, and this and that. Those guys were in a hurry. And anybody that's ever worked a flight line on a Navy carrier or anywhere where there's military aircraft know that those guys are not worried about a freaking dropping a screwdriver on something. This is not a private airplane. And when they're done with it, nobody else is getting one. Well, they proved that wrong because people were buying them out of Canada. But the thing about it is, with the A models, they were phased out because they improved it. They made it bigger, thicker, and this. So it's very important that you guys are paying attention to the model you're building and the drawings. They're all different. And I can tell you right now, if you don't pay attention, you're going to go, oh, what did I do? Now, if you're building an F, do the F. If you're doing an H model, do the H model. But I'm going to tell you the subtle differences between the A and all the rest of them. And that's why I am building the A model, is because there's not very many of them out there in any competitions or in any of the events. The A model is a totally different airplane. It's pretty iconic, and it's actually a piece of history too. But there's several tail configurations of them. And this is one of them. The back part of the airplane, the tail, changed 3 times before it actually went into part of the airfoil. And it actually rose as much as this tall. Now, you could build that into this if you really wanted to do it. I chose not to, because these tubes in here are perfect alignment and everything else. This airplane's set. There's nothing to set on this airplane. Everything has been computer generated and done through mirrors and Demano, that the incidence is already there. So you're getting to where you're looking at, you can make it simulated, but there's no way you can make that move. You know, and I'm going to take that back. Yes, you can. But you're creating a hell of a lot of work, and you're changing the airframe around. And the one thing is, Tomahawks are F and H models. So are the Skymaster jets. So are a lot of them. We are actually modifying a sport jet to be an A model. And that's why I've extended this completely out. I've extended this out a full inch back here. I've extended that out 1/4 of an inch. And I did that by looking at my drawings. I made this roll in this to be where it was supposed to be, and it is right. Now the nose was a little bit of a trick, and I'm glad I did it the way I did it, but the nose looks like a shark. Okay, it's a lot sharper. It looks more of a bull nose on any of the other of the F-86s, so it's something that you really want to be looking at. Plus the canopies are totally different. And they actually do not go straight down here where it joins up to go. It actually does have this on the A model. And this has been not really an argument, but it has been a point of interest that we needed to talk about with a couple of guys. And the thing is you got to look at your scale references in your drawings. One thing is, guys, after you do your panel lines and all this stuff like that, do not wet sand this airplane. Forget it. It never happened. And you just dry sand it with 400. Let this thing set for a little bit. It's not going to hurt anything. You don't want to get anything wet in here, because if you do, things are going to move around on you. And from now on, we will dry it. As soon as this is done, I will come in and basically what I'm doing now is I'm going to find sand and I'm detailing this airplane all the way out. All the areas that I left rough are now going to get treated. All the plastic parts that I'm going to make for this to make those work are going to get done. All my electronics at this point while I'm doing this are going to be installed, and there's going to be a lot of cool things going on. Now, this is my philosophy on building. I'm not going to go and risk getting a lot of dust and everything into very expensive electronics and parts and pieces. I don't want any overspray on things because there is a lot that goes on, and the airplane is dirty. But now I will clean this airplane up and it will be treated like a real one, and we're just not going to have a lot of the issues and problems with this. So now that it is into its realm, I will be cleaning it with denatured alcohol, and I'm going to show you this because a lot of this is sanded. And I want to show you this is what happens when you start wet sanding things, but you're looking for a finish like this. You don't want this and be wiping it off dry. It makes a mess out of things. So I will take 400 and I'll sand the rest of this out and get this, and then I will dig panel lines out as I go. Now some of them are a little beat and some are there, but I want you guys to remember and look at all these pictures of all these Air Force jets. You do not prominently see huge panel lines or butt seams or joints because there aren't that many on the jet. I put them in because I know they're there. They're giving me reference to where everything else is going, and then there's also different things that having those panel lines actually gives it a little bit more of it gives it more of a personality. And putting the panel lines in is going and actually doing this. But I do want to show you guys a few little things that I do. And this is just how I do it. Everybody's got their own way of doing things. I realize that. I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm just showing you the way I do it. And a lot of these things are going to be kind of in a way to where you go. Now, one thing I'm going to show you guys in here is that there's a lot of debris in there. There's a lot of glue. And it should be like in here. That's on purpose. It's smooth, but I did put a ding in it right there. I put a couple scrapes in it here and there. I put some chips in it because they're going to look like they're painted over. These are removable panels. I want them chipped up. There are things like in here. This is a removable panel. That's a paint chip. When I weather it and I show you and I wipe this, it's going to look like the paint's been chipped and pen painted over. These are totally intentional to have all these deals. This is a screwed in panel, that's a screwed in panel. This whole thing is screwed on. This has all got screws through it and rivets and nuts. I want these panels to be chipped up. I want them to look like they've been, like the airplane's been taken apart and serviced a bazillion times. I did the same thing up here. I want the paint chips. This is part of my weathering process. I want this to look chipped up. I want it perfect. So there are a lot of things. Anything that's removable, I purposely go in and rough them up. I dig them up a little bit with an end of a razor and just chip them. They're supposed to be that way. And that's the way they look real. If you look at a real one, oh man, the damn thing's had the dachshund not beat out of it. Any place where there's a panel of wear or anything that's gone, like in here, I am tearing this up on purpose. I know it sounded God, it just makes it look God. No, when this thing is painted and it looks like it's been chipped up, it's got a lot of wear, and that's the way it is. If I got an area where I think a panel line needs to be repaired or this and that, I want it to look like it's been, like I said, I want it to look like it's absolutely been completely serviced a bazillion times. They had to take it apart. I want chips on a lot of stuff. And I will do that. I will weather off where all the screws go in. I will chip those up and I will make this thing look beat to shit. That's the way I want this airplane to look. Don't want it to look brand new. Clean panel lines, not on your life, not on my airplanes. I've never done that. And these are all chips and things that just make these things look great. Furthermore, I put some dents in it. In here and there. There are little dings and dents, little areas. And that's got dents on purpose. It got set on the ground. Somebody got pissed off and kicked it. That happens in the military, funny enough. And so my airplane's been abused. So anyway, this is where we're at. You know, I'm gonna just keep posting a little bit on progress on this. I'm going to show you guys what it is, but we're going to look on the other side that has not been done yet. Okay? This has not been done. Nothing has been done here at all, except for just a little bit over the top and the side over there. And this is what this looks like before. Let me scratch this up a little bit. This is an opening door, by the way, guys. And this I'm not worried about because I'm just not going to worry about it. That's the hatch. It'll camouflage up when I paint it and it'll be fine. This area needs to be chewed up a little bit more. These areas around in here, these are too clean. That's just enough. I need to beat up a little bit of these here. This one's got a dent in it. I'll come back and clean a little bit of it up, but not very much. I don't want this airplane clean as straight as it is. It's already too straight. But it does have kind of a rippled effect to it. When you look down it, it does kind of have a little bit of rip. Yes, it does shine a little bit, but it does have kind of a rippling effect to it. And these are things that I really want. I want any of these parts that are really in the wear areas and all this, I want them chipped up a little bit. And then I'll clean them all up with rivets and whatever have you. But this is part of the building, and this is part of where a lot of this stuff needs to go. It's just adding to the realism of the airplane to me is actually fairly important in a lot of ways. It's just important as having the panels in the right place. And like I said, once I'm done, I'll steel wool it. I'm going to use class coat paint. I'll steel wool it, pull a little bit of that silver out, this airplane will look like it's been just out there killing everything. So that's what we want. We're building a wall machine. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And comment, share, whatever. Tell your friends. Come on in and enjoy the fun. We're just starting to get to it. And this is where this jet is really going to start taking a lot of shape. While we're waiting on a few parts, I'm waiting for my legs and my nose gear. We will take a break from the detailing and we will start installing some other parts. I've got the air system. I'm waiting for the MP4 valve because I need one to close it. And then I'll discuss when I get to that point more about what's going on with the landing gear doors and everything else that I am going to put in this. Until then, I'll see you guys in the funny papers.